Through all of this, you told me that you loved me so much, but now we're here, and I can barely breathe. Inside my head, I pulled apart all the pieces to only see I've always wanted you. So let's take this time to feel it all, no lies, 'cause if we don't, the fight will eat the life. Stuck in self-destruct, and we can't wake up. Don't wanna give it away. You make me give it away. Don't eat the love alive. Don't eat the love alive. Don't eat the love alive. I know we're scared, and every day feels like a bad day. My biggest fear is you will walk away. The battle's here, and I'm standing in the fire. So take my hand, and we will stay alive. So let's take this time to feel it all, no lies, 'cause if we don't, the fight will eat the love alive. Stuck in self-destruct, and we can't wake up. Don't wanna give it away. Can't make me give it away. Don't eat the love alive. Don't eat the love alive. Don't eat the love alive.
Tries to hold on to the bottom. Here comes Gisette. They make contact. They touch once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, trouble! Oh, no, Rocky into the wall. Big crash front straightaway. Huge crash coming into the triangle. No, Rocky up and into the air. They're beating and banging. Burn on the bottom. Cosman up top. Cosman, I think. No. Breuer by 1/1000th of a second. Joseph, no! At the line, Third Horse pulls the win out at the stripe. Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas. Oh, get your foot in. He got it. He's got it. He's got it. Canvas is going to win.
Tonight, the chase for the WINSTEL Cup takes a turn to Watkins, Glen, New York, to Watkins Glen International for the AMD at the Glen, the second race for the chase for the WINSTEL Cup in the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge. Hello everyone, my name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Derek Watson, along with our producer Zach Johnson here on FDF.GG as we get ready to try and see how these drivers fare out going left and right with a chance for the season title in the balance, Derek.
That's right, JP. We see a great track here at Watkins Glen, one of the 2 road courses on the schedule in this series, and an exciting race that can lead to unpredictable results, as we've seen many times.
It could be an unpredictable night, as to be expected when it comes to Watkins Glen, the one road course race of this year's chase for the championship. Let's take a look at how the championship is faring out entering tonight, because Dover brought plenty of surprises. A non-chase driver took the opening victory of the chase. However, Jose Solis Jr. picked up the most points early on, as coming in as the number 1 seed, he holds on to a 5-point advantage over Nicholas Doucette. Christian Budd, Zach Campbell, Gabriel Mauricio, the top 5, separated by 50 points tonight. Dylan Roberts, Ryan Doucette, Ali Osman, and James Holtz are those who also made starts. Brandon McKissick in a deep hole, starting off the chase with 7 races to go now. It's his first start tonight.
Well, JP, last week you mentioned that we had a non-chase driver win the race. I suspect tonight, if I had to make a guess, I think it's going to be different. Everyone thinks that Zach Campbell's going to make up those points tonight. You say you had a gap there in the points. It could look very different in where he stands after tonight's race, as he seems to be the dominant car here during practice and qualifying.
He was dominated in practice by 0.4 of a second. He kept that up in qualifying. Let's take a look at your starting grid tonight from the Glen. On the pole tonight, Zach Campbell, the 19 machine, picked up a 1:11.949 in qualifying. He'll start alongside Dylan Alt. Starts for the first time in a long while. Dylan Alt in second. Dylan Roberts starts in third tonight alongside Sean Pellig. Well, Alex Koenig, the winner, last time out from Dover, and Jose Solis Jr., your top 6, Derek.
All right, then you got 7th. You got Brandon McKissick starting next to Nicholas Doucette. Tyler Head and Alexander Russell will make up your row 5. And then row 6 is Emily Howe and Jeffrey McClintock in row number 6.
Parker Alexander makes an appearance from 13th. Christian Budd in 14th. Alex Iyer starts in the row 8 position, number 15, alongside Thomas Lewandowski. Anthony Krobach starts in row 9. Logan Kress rounds out the top 18.
That's going to take a look at row 10. That's the 99 car, Philip Snipes, next to Brennan McGee in the 9. Row 11 will be Gabriel Mauricio, and then you got the 70 car there in row 11. And then Ali Osman and James Holzer make out row 12. And then finish it off with Christopher Tate, Ken Huff, and then Hayden Repas is the last car here back in row 14.
That's a look top to bottom and how tonight will fare out tonight for your starting grid. 29 cars starting from the Glen. Of note, Gabriel Mauricio will get the chance to start in 6th due to a sim issue, not recording time. So 31 will be able to move up to row 3 in turn and shuffle things back a little bit for those on further back. But let's talk about the keys to the race tonight, because the Glen can be a tricky one, and for many, there were some nerves for those in the championship battle. The chase, in some circumstances, could be decided here tonight. If you don't get a good run here, it could be a very deep hole to come back from, Derek.
It really could, Justin. You know, a common theme we hear across racing is you can't necessarily win it in lap 1, but you can lose it in lap 1. And that doesn't just apply to the race tonight. It's going to apply to the chase. Turn 1, lap 1, and then up through the S's and then down through the bus stop is a scary time for any driver, especially if you're someone like Brandon McKissick who needs to make up points. One bad race tonight, and you can find yourself just really, really, really out of this.
We talked about the importance of being able to perform well. One of the drivers expected to perform well on the expectations we've seen throughout his career, Zach Campbell. Of course, Porsche Taycan Eastern Super Cup driver, has talked about plenty of times in the series. Starting from the pole, he wasn't unbeatable, though, out in Sonoma. Last time out, though, Derek.
No, he definitely wasn't. He's not unbeatable this time, JP. You know, one slip up or just being patient, saving some tires, multiple strategies can still beat him. Sometimes just because you qualify well doesn't mean you finish there. And tonight could prove that theory again.
See how tonight fares out here from the Glen on FTF. GG. Drivers getting set for the start here as we get ready to get rolling from the Glen. We're happy to have you with us here for the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge. Race 2 of the Chase for the WINSTEL Cup is all set to go from Watkins, Glen, New York. Green flag waits up on the stand. We're underway from the Glen. clean start up to the S's. Campbell holds on to the point for now. Meanwhile, Koenig's getting shuffled around, trying to battle with Sean Pellig in the battle for fourth. One driver did not take the start of note. Jeffrey McClintock, the rest of the field, keeping it clean, single file to the bus stop. One driver missing the bus stop, that is Alexander Russell taking a stop on the bus stop. The 44 taking a penalty, so the 44 to the back of the pack.
Yeah, and you know, for us NASCAR guys, that's a different version of the penalty than what road course racers are used to. According to NASCAR, you need to come to a full stop there in the bus stop, and then you can move again. You can't disturb a slowdown like you can in a typical road course series.
Meanwhile, Zach Campbell picking up some valuable points for the battle for the championship, picking up 5 bonus points for leading this time around to start things off tonight. Do it all keeping things close, driving the one machine. Keep in mind, some drivers have to be able to cut their way to the pack. Christian Budd, for example, one of those keeping an eye on. In the Hornet's Nest, trying to fight for 10th, in fact, with Tyler Head and Emily Howell side by side of the S's.
Justin, that was so close, seeing them side by side through the S's like that. That is not the recommended way to do that. That is scary, and it is white knuckle time if you're a driver there as they're going to come down to the bus stop here.
Bud electing to back it up. Keep in mind, Bud's strength usually has been the speedways. He slipped back a bit in performance during the summertime, but has picked things up a bit in terms of his performance coming from Dover last time out. Looking boxed in, though, behind Tower Head.
You know, Justin, through the field so far, this has been very clean racing. Through the back of the pack, I don't think we saw it in the broadcast. They were 3 wide through turn 1 in the first lap. But other than that, it's been good, clean, respectful racing. And we're just going to wait and see who are our biggest movers here in a couple of laps.
See, for example, defensive lines being taken in some of the battles down the straightaway. That was Thomas Lewandowski battling with Lilac Zaire in that fight for 15th position. Mostly everybody else keeping to room, absolutely. But the main thing, too, is, Derek, you can't just burn up your tires in the opening going part of this race. It's so easy to light your tires up.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy to light your tires up here. I mean, you're right about that. Just how hard you get through the bus stop because you're trying to be aggressive is a great place to do it. And especially how hard they're going to attack those rumble strips and those curbs. You can kill tires here, and that will cause someone who maybe runs up front early, and in 5, 6, 7, 10 laps halfway through the race, they'll be mid-pack with that, and they'll be struggling as they do it.
Still struggling to get around Tower Head is Christian Budd, up 2 positions so far in the race. Parker Alexander reaching a little bit towards the back bumper, not able to make the move yet. Keep in mind, in this series, the fuel at 37% for the tanks. That is just under 7 gallons. That can make things a bit tight for the mileage today around that halfway part of the race to make sure you get to the end on gas today.
You know what, and that's actually could be an interesting point. If you maybe why you don't want to lead, maybe you're comfortable being in the back of a group and just drafting, because that could be the difference between, feeling comfortable on your fuel mileage at the last lap of this race, or maybe having to save and give up a spot. And if you're a chase driver, that's not a spot you want to be in, Justin.
Meanwhile, towards the front, Mauricio still holding on to the 6th position on the racetrack. He had an issue in terms of his times being recorded by the session during practice and qualifying. He is on the track in the Sims regard, though, being considered in the 6th position based on his car tracking spot. Mauricio keeping a good, strong amount of pace, though, on the rough estimates by a 10th a lap quicker than the 45 currently.
Yeah, doing a good job so far, and doing a good job being calm. When something like that happens, where things aren't working right and things are happening and you're trying to talk to the admins, it's super easy to get flustered and to get out of your head and to lose your focus. It takes a real talented driver just to breathe it out and, keep on keeping on, so to speak.
Some fighting going on in the 20s, meanwhile. Christopher Tate Able to go up now 4 spots. Brendan McGee and Philip Snipes are sliding back, and sliding into the wall goes the 40. Christopher Tate loops it into the Armco barrier. Stuck in the inside part of the track as everyone else zips on by.
I think he's going to wait here, see if he can get it turned around. So that looks like the last car coming by. You know, without looking at it, JP, I'm going to guess that curbing there on the right side, or yeah, the right side of your screen here, has something to do with that.
Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, right there.
That's a rough transition to do in these cars, to get it up all the way up to that curb and keep in the throttle. You can loop it around just as he did. It's an unfortunate run there.
So Christopher Tate loses all the ground he had picked up. He's now 41 seconds back of the leader, 5 seconds back to the next nearest car on the track, Brandon Cruz, months of ice. So already past the quarterway mark of the race, the lead is going down though. Campbell was up to 0.4 quicker a lap. Not so much now. Dylan Alt is coming in fast. Campbell backing it down. Alt picking it up.
Yeah, this will happen over time here, especially with that draft, and depending upon who's saving tires, or, you know, if Alt is just going to go for it. I mean, Alt does some road course racing. Had a chance to do a 24-hour race with him. There's another spun car, Justin.
That's the 16. Matt Skipper in trouble. Skipper the wrong way around the circuit. Boy, trouble though. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I said that's in the same exact spot as where we just saw the last spin too.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's take a look. It was further up originally from where Tate was. Different part of the curve though, same area, yes.
It's that transition. That transition must be super difficult for these guys in this car today. That's the second time we're seeing it. And it looks like the guys who are doing it well, we'll watch maybe in the next couple of laps, Justin, they're making the transition sooner and letting the car settle and not making quick moves with it.
Of note, Christopher Tate, who had the first spin out of the race in the 40, down to 28. Running Campbell nearly all the way to the wall. Here comes Dylan Alt. Alt trying to build up the run. Not taking it though. And this could be exactly what you talked about with the fuel mileage coming in.
Yeah, does Alt want to pass him, Justin? Like that's a question you got to be asking in your head, or especially if you're Alt, you got to be asking that question. Do I really want to pass him? Am I maybe saving myself that extra lap on the stop here? He's doing a great job mirroring that line. Look how wide they get there, Justin.
Using as much runoff space as possible. No incident limit in this series. But Alt trying to keep the pressure up. Campbell starting to put the speed back on. They have a 2-second cushion over Dylan Roberts, who has been running third this entire time. Up to the wall nearly goes the 19 of Campbell, as they start off lap 8 this time by. Keep in mind, iRacing updated this configuration earlier on this year with the runoff spaces with more pavement compared to the grass. It, in turn, has impacted the track limits here, Derek.
It's impacted the track limits, Justin. It's also impacted how wide you can take that, both in turn 1 and then out of the carousel as well. Watch him here again if they do it again here as Campbell and Alt, how wide they got last time. That was not possible last year at Watkins, Glen and iRacing. And watch them do it. These curbs in the bus stop are also new. They're a little bit more ferocious than what we're used to. But watch him here. Now, of course, they're probably not going to do it now that we're talking about it, but watch him track out here. All the way out there.
Trying to go as quick as possible. Yes, that's not one of the areas considered as part of the off-road exceptions. Turn 1, the 90 as it's called, as well as this section here are those 2 sections where you have to be careful with 4 wheels off for an off-track in the sim and potential course cut.
What I noticed there was neither one of them was eager to use that extra space there in the last couple corners, though, Justin. So they must be aware that the transitions of the curbings are not favorable to this car.
A pit stop underway for your points leader in the chase for the WINSTEL Cup. The 11, Jose Solis Jr., has just come down to the lane, coming to the start of lap 9. So strategy already coming into play. The early stages, he was running in the mid-pack of the top 10-15 before the pit stop.
interesting to me, Justin, something I want to keep a note about and keep an eye on. Coming in at lap 9 with only a 37% tank, that doesn't make me feel confident that he's on a one-stop strategy.
Yeah, he ended up taking fuel only, by the way. We'll see if there's another stop coming up. By the way, coming up after this race, I'd like to remind you that the Bar Visuals FDF Cup Series hits the racetrack at Bristol Motor Speedway. You'll get the chance to race at the Last Great Coliseum immediately following today's action. Speaking of action, Christian Budd, about 9 laps of trying, 9 laps of dedication to be able to try and pass Tyler Head.
Yeah, that was a good pass there, Justin. That's a lot of patience, a lot of finesse, and made a move at the right time to get up under him. We got more pit stops happening here.
And it looks like Bud and Mauricio having to come in prior to the halfway mark of this race. Campbell and Alt did make it, though. So now it gets interesting for if these drivers can make it to the end on a tank. Aaron Smith II also came in that time by. Of note, Jeffrey McClintock also is out of the race. Coming up to halfway this time, hard hits against the rumble strips for Campbell.
Taking a look at lap times, Justin, to see how we're doing here, to see if maybe these guys were slowing it down at all. And a little bit. I mean, actually, that time by Campbell had it up into 113, which is slower than he's been so far as I could tell. But these guys are still going for it.
Yeah, Campbell's been extending the gap back, it's worth noting, by about half a tenth to a tenth a lap. Anyone coming in this time? No, they're able to go past the halfway point. Make things intriguing for the strategy window for the rest of this run. Halfway through, Campbell has led them all so far. Brandon McKissick pitting this time by. Battles picking up around the mid-pack still. Involving Thomas Lewandowski passing one of the chase competitors. That's James Holzer.
You know what? Let me say real quick. I love that call by McKissick. Listen, you're unfortunately you're last in chase points. You're a talented driver. You have to do something different than what the rest of the field is doing to try to make up those points. So why not pit early? See if maybe you jump something on the leaders, right?
And the question is, do you take tires or just a splash? Because some of the drivers are taking the splash. Emily Howe, 2 tires. Splash from Mauricio was mentioned, as well as so was Junior. 4 tires taken by McKissick, loses ground to the 55. Parker Alexander on 4. Logan Kress on a 7.2 second stop. Some of these drivers electing to take the risk on the rubber because, well, they've ran maybe 10 laps.
Yeah, I was taking a look here at our pit stop times. You're right, McKissick, Alexander, Lewandowski had a long stop, and I think Ken Huff. I probably would not take tires here as we're seeing more people come in. I think that I don't think there's enough time to make up that time in a 20-lap race.
Dylan Alt closed up the gap to Zach Campbell for the commitment cone at 9 laps to go. We'll see what the leaders do for their strategy. Dylan Alt, Sean Pellig, Alex Kolinix, Nick Doucette, Tower Head all in this time by. And it looks like Campbell is up on the jacks. Doesn't look like Alt's on the jacks, though. Bit of a lengthier stop, though. Yes, they are going on the jacks, and Dylan Roberts takes the race lead on strategy. 4 tires for Campbell and Alt.
Justin, this really could change some things here, because the guys who didn't take tires, at least temporarily, are going to come up around in the lead, or at least closer to the lead, and in some cases maybe cycle the lead while these tires play out.
Sean Pellig also on the same strategy as Roberts, already being hounded for second. Here comes Campbell looking for the spot back. And a peak, a close call on the bus stop. Alt over his back bumper, thinking 3 wide for a moment. Oh, and the 48 clears himself. Alt squeezes in and takes it. And a close call there, able to squeeze on through. Trouble for the 45 of the bus stop. Alex Kolinix, who took fresh tires, has gone around. That will drop him outside the top 10. He was running in the top 10 before the pit window.
That's one of the dangers, Justin, of taking tires is you got to let them warm up. That you can't make those moves on cold tires you've been making for the previous 10, 11, 12 laps. You got to let them warm up for a lap or two and then go for it.
But now the chess match for the race lead gets intriguing. The gap is now under 3 seconds to this car. Dylan Roberts. Zach Campbell has chipped away the gap 3/10 already up the S's with Dylan Alt. The 4 fresh tires are coming for Campbell and Alt. Ran down to 2.4 seconds. The 19 and the 1 have a strong chance of catching Roberts already here. Keep in mind, Roberts was about 2 to 3 seconds back of the leaders before the pit stops.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen here, if those tires are going to take effect. Also, we're going to see if lap traffic plays an effect on letting Roberts keep the lead. We're seeing he just passed by the 20 car, so that'll be another car in the way for Alt and Campbell to get by if they want to take this lead.
Gap down to 2 seconds. Just 2 lap cars running on the circuit. Montsevice and Reepa's currently. Philip Snipes just had to tow the 99 as well. So there goes the lap traffic. Game on for the race lead. Alt keeping pressure on Campbell. The gap down to about 10 car lengths for the race lead. Behind them, the battling continues for drivers like James Holzer. Tries to find any track position. He picked up a different strategy compared to that 00. That is Aaron Smith II trying to make some carving moves.
Yeah, and I want to take a second, call Aaron Smith II. They're the driver of the 70 that I didn't get their name in the pre-race lineup, so I do want to apologize for that, but that's who that is. I was going to talk for a second about Holzer, though. They'll talk about alternate pit strategies, Justin. He went gas only, and he's picked up 9 spots since the start of the race, so that's why that strategy can play off sometimes, is you can make up space on the track.
Smith keeping the pressure up on Holzer, not able to make the move meanwhile in the bus stop. But yes, those strategies have been critical, and we've seen that start to play out in turn. Wade himself, Lau Zaire, you see trying to shuffle around the 07 does on 2 tires. The 90 is. She tries to move ahead. The battle for the race lead is on. To the bumper goes Campbell. Campbell to the right side, up through the S's. Robert squeezes him. Campbell has the better grip, though, along the outside of the S's to take the race lead back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Justin, I was wrong earlier, apparently, when I said I didn't know if tires would make a difference. You saw every bit of difference tires made, and watch it again here. Watch how smoothly that Campbell and Alt make it through the bus stop and made it through the S's. That's the proof of why tires work here.
They were 1.3 seconds quicker last time. The 07 Logan Kress has spun around. That was again in the battle for 13th position. Kress shuffled back to 18th. He is also on the fuel-only strategy and is now dealing with a loose race car. Meanwhile, 4 fresh tires taken by your top 2 drivers. Now with 5 laps to go, it becomes the question, can Alt do anything to pass Zach Campbell?
Yeah, and you know what? You should want to think that Alt has the fuel to make the move here. He doesn't need to wait. These guys pitted in some cases 2 laps later than anybody else. I would want to think that he has the fuel to make it, and he doesn't need to be conservative. He needs to get up there and do it.
The tough thing's been, though, Campbell's been really solid in the S's, Derek noticed, with his grip.
Oh, yeah. Campbell has been amazing all across this track. It's hard to think that he's done anything wrong or questionable.
Oh, no, it's in the wall.
Oh, no, I heard that.
All over the bus stop. Holds on to it, and that may cost him.
And it cost him some time here. It could motivate him in a weird way. That sometimes as a driver, frustration will get you ahead, but no, that's a big thing for Campbell. Now has a little bit of space.
Alt had been really flirting with the edge of the Armco barrier right before that moment, and now has a 1.1 second deficit, give or take, to the 19 with 4 laps to go. By the way, Roberts is now 3 seconds back of this. Sean Pellick has held off the 31 of Gabriel Mauricio for their strategy on a 2-lap difference for 4th and 5th respectively.
Yeah, you know what, JP, if we can go back for a second, back to P8, the 42 of Brandon McKissick. He had made that call to pit earlier and took 4 tires, and this is working well for him so far, pardon me. He's up in P8 and is currently running down P7 and 6. So for someone who needs a good point stay, assuming he can, have enough gas to make it to the end, maybe this did pay off to be on a quiet pit road and get his own entrance and exit and not fight through traffic.
Taking a bit of the rumble strip and turn. Question mark's going to be trying to find the right spot to pass by the 11 of Jose Solis Jr.
Tell you what.
Oh, you're coming for the move, though. Big bubble. Tell you what, McKissick is going 3 wide. Off into the turn. Squeezes the 55. Makes the 2 for 1 just about work.
Oh, that's courage. Oh, man. That takes more courage than most drivers have to do that and to make that work, Justin.
So Brandon McKissick, a ringside 6th spot now on the racetrack. Tyler Head has now dropped out of the top 15 with the spin. And significant damage for the 4. It's a blown motor for the 4. Tyler Head now with under 3 to go.
It's a spin in a scary spot, too. That's a spot where some people like to make that line. That's, I'm glad he got that moving.
Now trying to keep up. She's on 2 tires, remember? Looks like Hal's not backing down, trying to push McKissick's pressure buttons up a bit to the bus stop.
Look at this beautiful camera shot here, looking just how close they get together. Oh my gosh.
Hal does not want to give this up. Takes the incident point for good measure to get to the left side of McKissick. McKissick just with the preferred line, though, to be able to get the right arc and hold on to 2 laps to go this time around at Watkins Glen International. McKissick looks to set sail now for 6th. Zach Campbell currently has
doing so well, Justin. He is all over these curbs. Watch him go through the bus stop again and how much more aggressive he is than other drivers and just attacking those curbs.
And Howland, for reference, nearly washed up to the grass, trying to be a bit on the aggressive side. Of note, Logan Kress is peeled off. Oh, indeed, Howell with a bit of a slide.
Yeah, I wasn't really afraid of those curbs either. Some drivers want to avoid them or barely touch them, but both of these drivers here are just all over it.
See, Nicholas Doucette nearly looped it around coming out of the carousel, by the way, along the rumble strips. 9th position behind your top seed coming into this race in the chase. 11 of Solis Jr. Solis Jr. is in that line. We're down to the final lap. Meanwhile, Zach Campbell has taken the white flag and has extended the gap once more to nearly 1.5 seconds. Campbell, once again, looking to come to victory lane on a road course this season. Looking to sweep the road courses in this series.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it. There's still, a bit of a lap left here, but what a dominant performance. And, I talked about when tires make a difference. Look what they did to Dylan Roberts, Justin. We're watching them turn this last lap here. Dylan Roberts is over 7 seconds back on these 2.
Dylan Roberts holding on to a top 3. Valuable points picked up for Zach Campbell. He picks up a very large chunk of points. He was 33 points back of the 11 machine entering tonight. That deficit greatly reduced. For the final time, Zach Campbell exits the final corner. He drifts his way down the front straightaway to celebrate and nearly spins it out in the celebration and still wins the race. Zach Campbell nearly throws it away, but still wins it. Meanwhile, Parker Alexander not backing down, trying to hold off Kolenix for the last spot of the top 10. Center with the squeeze over Kolenix, and he gets wrecked. Kolenix rams him. And now Kolenix is showing sportsmanship. He has indicated he is stopping on the track to let Alexander go. Aaron Smith II takes his spots away. And now Alexander just hits him instead and finishes behind him. Well then.
The crazy scene there, Justin. You see another car spun around here coming into the final corners. I can't tell who that is from that angle.
Yeah, that's Thomas Lewandowski. And Ripa's not having fun, has already finished the race. Is celebrating taking the finish, it looks like. But either way, how about a bizarre end to this one? For good measure. Let's take a look at the race results real quick, shall we? Your unofficial race results after shenanigans breakout. Zach Campbell has his lead cut in about half after celebrating off the final corner, trying to drift out of the final corner, nearly wrecking the car to the inside wall, but holding on in front of Dylan Alt to take the checker flag. Then, Dylan Roberts finished in third, Sean Pellick, Gabriel Mauricio, Brandon McKissick the top six, Emily Howe finishes in seventh, Jose Solis Jr. in eighth, Nicholas Doucette in ninth, and then the circus music played from 10th on back after some wildness for the finish.
11th, you have Lilac Zier. 12th was James Holzer. Alex Kolonix in 13th. Parker Alexander in 14th. Anthony Troback in 15th, followed by Alexander Russell, Ali Disman, Brennan McGee, Christian Budd, and then Thomas Lewandowski rounds out your top 20, Justin.
Ken Huff in 21st and Brandon Montsevice in 22nd. Tyler Head at Blown Motor, a DNF in 23rd. Headed Repez gets to celebrate being 3 laps down in 24th. Logan Kress 5 laps down in 25th with the DNF, along with Philip Snipes, Matt Skipper, Jeffrey McClintock, and Christopher Tate. Your running order here tonight. Post-race coverage coming up in just a moment. You're watching FDF to GG for tonight's coverage of the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge. Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge here from Watkins, Glen International. Justin Prince, Derek Watson with you with our producer, Zach Johnson. Zach Campbell dominated this race, led just about every lap. But in the end, nearly threw it away down the final straightaway, avoided spinning the car into the wall, still wins the race. Zach, That celebration was eventful. It nearly ended in disaster, though, before the checkered.
Oh, we knew what we were doing. I mean, we have a nice old VRS direct drive, so, we got it under control. I mean, I think it just went to have a little bit of fun there coming to the line.
Well, either way, you had a dominating pace in this race. How would you describe, though, the strategy part of this? Because at one point you had the early advantage. It went away quickly in 1-2 sectors noticed in the first half of this race.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think it was interesting on a strategy standpoint because at one point I looked down and I was trying to do the mental math in my head, see if 2 tires was going to be worth it. And for me, I mean, I don't think it was going to be worth as much as 4 and what I could do on 4. So I just kind of stuck to my guns there and knew that I could get around those guys with 2. So from a strategy standpoint, it was pretty interesting, but I think both me and Dylan were very tempted to do it and just ended up not kind of going for it, just out of the fact that I think we had enough of a gap to everyone where we didn't really have to worry about that.
Well, this race picks you up valuable points, a lot of points, in fact. And Jose Solis Jr. entering Kansas. Your thoughts entering Kansas Speedway for the Banquet 400? And in a great spot for the chase, for the remainder of the chase, in fact, with this run.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I think I haven't driven at Kansas in a few years, so haven't really done a whole lot of oval in a few years. So like a lot of the places we've been going to, I'll just kind of have to learn it and warm up for the race. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty fun. I think yeah, looking forward to it. No Kansas track that widens out. You can kind of use almost any lane. So hopefully we can put on a good show there, and hopefully it's a lot of fun.
Congratulations, Zach, on your victory tonight.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Thanks for broadcasting, and thanks for Brendan for putting on the league. Really appreciate it.
That's Zach Campbell coming away with the victory tonight, his first of the chase. Second spot tonight goes to Dylan Alt. He's with Derek.
Caught up with the driver, the number 1 Bass Pro Shops machine. That's Dylan Alt. Dylan, good run tonight. You ran second almost the whole race behind Zach. What was your feeling about tonight's race? How do you feel getting out of the car, finishing P2?
I feel really great, actually, that I was able to keep up with Zach for that long. Last time I raced Zach was probably back in 2017 when I first joined this league at Sonoma. And obviously I was way in the back of the field, but it was cool to stay with him because he's the Porsche Esports Cup driver. And I was surprised with myself that I was able to stay with him. But yeah, so I'm very happy.
I know you've been working on your road course racing some. I know you did the 24-hour race at Daytona a couple weeks ago. Is improving road course racing a task of you this year?
I've always loved road course racing in the stock cars. I do it every time they're at a road course, and I always have fun. So it was a coincidence when I signed up for this league to run again that the first race for me was going to be Watkins Glen. So hopefully that I can put this same result at Watkins Glen as I can at Kansas and other upcoming races.
So last question for you tonight. Talk about the pit stop. You went 4 tires, the same as Zach did. Looking back on it, do you regret that call, or do you think that was the right call to go 4 tires and do the same thing he did?
I think it was the right call. When I first joined the practice session, I didn't even know that they updated the car. So I didn't know if the tire was updated. It just, the car sounded different for me. And so I didn't know if tire fall off was actually going to be a thing or what. So I just stuck with taking 4. I didn't really care where I finished. I just wanted to have a clean car and not wreck and not be like an idiot. So yeah, I think it was the better strategy.
All right. Well, next week is the Banquet 400 at Kansas. We look forward to seeing you there. Good job tonight, Dylan.
Thank you.
That's Dylan Alt coming away in second tonight. Another Dylan. Dylan Roberts came away in third place tonight in the 8 machine. Dylan Roberts now joins us. Dylan, who ended up taking a different strategy. Talk us through the decision-making process there, electing to go off that strategy of most of the field. In fact, the strategy you took ended up being the majority of the top 10 strategy.
Yeah, I could tell pretty early on I wasn't going to have the pace for Zach or Dylan. I mean, those are some of the best on the sim. I mean, they do this for a living, and it's hard to keep up with them. I'll be honest. So early on, I was thinking I had to do something different. I had to throw a Hail Mary, and I went with no tires, hoping the fueling would take a little bit longer. I think it was only like 3-4 seconds of fuel when you're stationary, so it wasn't too much time that I saved. They caught me I think lap 15, but I think that all things considered, that was the best I could have done. Got me some bonus points for leading, and it was a good attempt.
Still picking up a lot of points for this chase. A lot of pressure with this format again to be able to be consistent here. The next race is Kansas. We've seen great speed from you in the 1.5 miles. What should we expect from you is the main question when it comes to next time out at Kansas, knowing what's at stake.
Well, hopefully we'll have some speed next week. I like Kansas. Like you said, I've had quite a bit of speed on the 1.5 miles, so I've been pretty happy with how I've been performing there. So hopefully it'll be another good week to recover from the bad week at Dover. This was pretty much the best I could have done here at Watkins Glen, so another performance like this would help me a lot in the chase.
Thank you very much for your time, Dylan. We'll let you get ready for Kansas already.
Thank you very much.
Dylan Roberts rounds out your top 3 tonight. I'd like to thank him, Dylan Alt, Zach Campbell for taking the time to speak with us during tonight's post-race coverage here on FTF.GG. Derek, your final thoughts on tonight? An eventful final lap, let's put it that way, on the front straightaway, but outside of that, clean, strategic. How would you describe it?
Clean is a great word for it, Justin. Exciting, lots of exciting racing, lots of respectful racing, and 2 wide through the bus stop, 2 wide through the S's. I think in the end, though, what my word for this race or words is going to be points. It's going to be a word for this. There's a lot of drivers tonight, like Brandon McKissick, who made up points and were smart. And a few weeks from now, that could be a pivotal point in where he finishes.
We'll see how things fare out when it comes to this championship next time out. Again, Kansas Speedway. That coverage currently scheduled tentatively 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on FTF.GG. The next race on the channel, meanwhile, is coming up right after this. It's the Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series. They get their chance to run at the Last Great Coliseum and be able to see who survives with all parts of their car together. Find out in just a few minutes' time. With that, it's time to turn things over towards that direction. For our producer, Zach Johnson, for Derek Watson, I'm Justin Prince. So long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see how things fare out at Bristol. Congratulations to Zach Campbell, your winner from the Glen.